Okay, so we're going to do something a little different today. This all happened back in 1989. I'm talking about the Menendez brothers, Lyle and Eric. Crazy, sad story. There's a 911 phone call. He states that, they just get home, him and his brother, and they come into a horrific scene.
I mean, I don't know what they were thinking on there.
I think they're giving a big FU to Dad.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Dad deserves a big FU.
Yeah.
Obviously, all eyes start to shift focus from an intruder to...
It was for
It's
sure.
Alex and Lyle.
Yeah.
We are
Back.
episode 17. Might have just clapped in the mic right there. I get so excited.
Might have been a little loud.
I know. Saying the episode number, though. 17.
I know, so do I. We do every single time, you can tell for sure. Almost to 20.
That's insane.
I know, that's
Thank
so
you
crazy.
guys for being here through it all. I mean, it's crazy. I feel awesome. But before I get too caught up in that, this is Talking Back.
Powered by Life 360.
I'm Billy.
And I'm Drew.
Okay, so we're going to do something a little different today.
Yes, we are. We're
Murder podcast style, basically.
turning in.
So little, heads up at the beginning. This one gets it's sons and parents, and it gets deep. There's a little essay. There's a lot of trigger warnings in this. It gets pretty deep. So this is going to be a little PG-ish, close to R rating. So just to, there's some tough subjects. So just a heads up, if you don't like that kind of stuff, we get it. Join us for episode 18.
We don't. We're not blaming you if you have to, but.
No.
If this is your style like us, not that we like that it's a bunch of sad stories and it's not just sad, like literally horrible.
Yep.
But
horrible story. But these are some of my favorite things.
Yeah, we do love to listen to our murder podcast and all that.
We just went straight on a road trip this weekend. And that's Kendall Ray. If you're out there, or if you don't know Kendall Ray and you love a good murder podcast, and your
I
girl,
feel like
do
there's
we know her
no
name?
way you don't. Can I look it up real fast?
Yeah, look it up. Go. Let's give her a shout out too. But Kendall Ray, golly, girl, we love you. Favorite murder cop podcast. As we're going on road trips. Technical difficulty. Oh, you got it. So maybe we can find it.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
But so that got us into this, and then this trial's kind of making its way back around. It really came back in 2020. This all happened back in 1989. I'm talking about the Menendez brothers, Lyle and Eric. Crazy, sad story. So we're gonna, figure with, parenting and kids. We're gonna dive into this one pretty hardcore. But while I'm waiting on Drew to find out who her favorite murder podcaster is, I'm going to tell this story. Let's see, Thursday night? Thursday night you guys go to Stillwater?
Yes.
So Thursday night they're going to Stillwater. Drew, and just like we said, we got some technical difficulties with Drew's phone. All right, who's your girl?
So it's this girl. Her thing is M. Shelley.
M. Shelley. Shout out.
Not a million yet, but yeah, she's so good. I love her videos.
Shout out to M. Shelley. Love you too. Girl, keep doing your thing.
Because sometimes if you don't have time to sit and listen to it, because the normal ones on YouTube, they're pretty long, like an hour, 45 minutes. So sometimes it's nice to watch her on TikTok because they're just
she can
between
break
a
them
minute
down.
and 10 minutes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Breaks them down fast and quick.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We're gonna give you the cliff notes on this one. But anyways, Thursday night, you guys are going to Stillwater.
Right.
Your phone's on the last freaking leg. I don't know what's going on with it, but I do know that iPhone's getting ready to drop the new phone.
But I have the back of my phone is shattered pretty much.
It is
so
shattered.
That's
in your phone's defense.
yeah.
It's
shattered.
It's been fighting through.
Yeah. So it doesn't really work unless it's on the charger, and then it still barely works on the charger.
So all that being said, Dad likes to not scope or spy. Scope. Where did that word come from? Spy on my kids, but I like to, keep tabs when they're going on road trips.
And we got in a wreck one time. We were in Stillwater, so
yep. So
valid
dad's
reasons,
dad's on high alert. You need me, you call me though. anytime, and I like to just see that they made it to the destination safely. So guess who has joined the Life 360 family circle?
Cam.
Cam is here. Welcome, Cam.
Yep.
Life 360 family circle. He is in the circle. He's in the
Yep,
circle.
he is.
That means you made it in my family. That's a joke.
No,
But
yeah.
but it really has. We got Lexi, Darian's girlfriend, on it. But it's so cool to have the family circle because
I
it
know,
has
it
it
is
has
cool.
helped out so much. But that being said, I got to watch you guys make it to Stillwater safely.
Yep.
And then we were already headed out to where we were going this weekend, and so I was able to see that you guys made it home safely in
Yep.
that morning, and that's just such peace of mind. I mean, free the app, download it. It's so
Just
cool.
like, yeah. Give yourself peace of mind.
Yep, Life 360, get it.
Yep. My
But
allergies are also killing me. So just throwing
allergies
that out there.
are
I'm like trying not to
kicking.
like sniff my nose right now.
Get in the microphone.
I know, yeah.
Give him a lot of snots today. But no, so all that being said, let's jump into this Menendez trial. So this starts back in 1989.
Okay.
I think August 20th, 1989 is actually when the murders happened. And there's a 911 phone call from Lyle, I do believe. I think he's the older one. And forgive me if I confuse them, but I feel like Lyle's the older one. He makes the 911 call. And he states that, they just get home, him and his brother, and they come into a horrific scene. Mom and dad have both been, unalived and in a brutal way. They actually had one of the top Beverly Hills cops that had been on the force for 33 years. He said it's the worst scene he's ever seen in his life.
Oh my god.
So you can only use your imagination of what they walk in on in that scene. So from there, Alex and Lyle, so Alex, I think, is 18 at this time. Lyle is 21, I believe. And they go on dad's loaded. Dad is like he works for a recording artist, one of the top labels. And Dad's got, millions at this time. And this is 1989. They're living in Beverly Hills mansion, living the life. And so Alex and I, what do? Man, they go on a shopping spree. I mean, they're buying these watches, whatever.
Anything they wanted, anything?
Yep. Anything they wanted. So they were never even cops would let them come in and out of the house. They were never a suspect ever at any point in time in this investigation. Let them go in and out, do their thing. And then until that starts happening, and then some eyebrows start to raise. This just...
Which that was, I don't know what they were thinking on their half.
I'm going to tell you, though. Exactly.
Okay, wait, I guess, in their position, though, yeah. They're probably just like, he doesn't,
I think they're giving a big FU to Dad.
Yeah, which,
is what they are doing.
he deserves a...
In my opinion, Dad deserves a big FU.
Yeah, for sure.
And...
you guys will hear why.
Yep. So... everything, turns pretty quickly, and they find out real quick that Lyle and Alex had purchased shotguns just before the murders, and I don't know if I can say murders. I don't know. On a lot, I don't know if you can say. I think you say murder because it's murder podcast. So, I'm trying to keep it as PG as I can.
But they do call them true crime podcasts now.
True
so
crime.
I don't know if that's why or not.
Okay, I like it though. True crime.
Yeah.
Alex, you can kind of edit me out if I need to.
I know if you
my
think
editor's the best in the business. Alex, you are awesome.
Yes, we
check out
appreciate you.
Yeah, he'll have his info at the bottom. If you guys need a good editor, definitely
Check
hit up
him out.
Alex. Yeah. So they purchase these shotguns.
Right.
Go in.
Did they do that secret at all, or was that just out?
No, I don't think so. I think they pretty much didn't try to hide that. They just went and bought some shotguns. Mom and Dad are sitting kind of in the dark in the living room watching TV. And you can only imagine with shotguns and the worst crime scene that this cop has ever seen in his life, what has happened. So pretty close range. And they even, reloaded
Oh my.
shotguns.
Which was that probably not necessary?
Not necessary. Nope. But what that tells me is I'm mad.
Oh
I
yeah.
am I am thoroughly mad. I've lost my mind in a sense,
I mean, yeah,
and
they're
I
definitely
am
like,
furious with you.
yeah.
But
And
am I
like,
furious enough to keep doing that? I mean, that seems really brutal with mom involved, because I could, that's pretty wild.
yeah,
Pretty wild. But obviously, all eyes start to shift focus from an intruder to
it was for
it's
sure.
Alex and Lyle.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
Alex
no
and Lyle.
questions.
Now it's their attorney even comes out and says, it's not a question of did they do it, but why did they do it? And in my opinion, I believe them. I fully do, and I'm going to tell you why, because there's been some a
Because do
couple
some
of
people think they just like made that up to get out of it?
100%.
Oh, really?
Everybody's saying they wanted that money.
Mm.
They wanted to, because here's the deal. Dad was in the process of taking them off the wheel. Now,
Mm.
don't know the inside story to that, but Dad was in the process of taking them off the wheel, so there was no money for Alex and Lyle. So is that why they
So
did
it is a
this?
little suspicious,
Little
but
suspicious. So the first trial comes about, starts, I think it's 1990-ish. I'm a senior in high school. I
were you
remember
hearing about all
this.
this?
Oh,
It
it
was
was
huge.
everywhere.
That's
If
crazy.
you were a 90s, not just a 90s baby, but you had to be,
Growing up a
teenager.
little to
You
remember that,
knew the
yeah.
Menendez brothers. And if you're like me, I had to introduce myself to all this stuff, because I'd kind of forgotten about it. And what you see in the 90s, it's kind of,
Tamer version?
taboo-ish,
Yeah.
tame-ish. You don't really see all what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I just remember hearing these kids wanted the money. That's how they were painted. I feel like in
Really?
the news. I
Well, it's
feel
good
like
to
it
know.
was,
Or like, you think they didn't like believe them as much then?
yeah, no.
But a lot more people are like,
We know way more
yeah,
about SA, and we know way more
yeah,
about trauma, and how people actually act
react to trauma. Yeah.
from trauma.
Because I mean,
And
that type of stuff can make you go insane. Like, I can
yeah,
only imagine,
yeah,
like, repeatedly
yeah.
every day.
And they're showing those signs. When you look back at it, all those signs
100%.
are
Yeah.
playing
And I
in
don't think you can fake that.
no.
I mean, people probably can try, but I feel like,
Exactly. So
I
there's
mean, maybe some people, but I'd like to think I don't think most people can fake
no,
that.
if you do, you need some help too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You need
Yeah, something isn't
yeah,
right.
something's not going on there if you need that. But there's a lot of people out there's so many of those true crime podcasts. People that have faked cancer, having cancer, they
Okay,
live their
so
lives
people
doing
probably
this,
can
and
fake all that
it's
stuff.
like it's a sick,
But
crazy world. So
it
let's get
is.
back
But
on this
anyway,
before I get
yeah.
off track.
Because they don't even know
So we're in the
what,
first
yeah.
trial.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mixed emotions from the family, because there's some family that are with mom and dad, and then there's some family that are with Alex and Lyle, and even there's some family members on mom and dad's side that are still on Alex and
So
Lyle's
have
side,
they, in
because
the first trial, did they come out and say that yet? What the dad did?
so yes,
Oh, because
yes,
we haven't tell them, but like basically, like the dad would, you know, essay them, I guess,
yep.
right? And then did the mom know about that or no?
Yes, because one of the family members, they bring up mom actually would not let one of the older family members go down the hallway if dad was taking showers with the boys with the door closed. She would not let him go down there to
Hmm.
whatever was going on
So she
that
would kind
away.
of let him?
So, and then the a sister, um, and not because it's just Alex and Lyle. They were the only two kids of this family, but the one of the mom's sisters is coming to the defense of Alex. I believe it's mom's sister. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that, but pretty close. But she's coming to the defense of Alex, and she actually went to mom and told her, "Hey, Alex has said, Dad is doing things to me," and she didn't believe her. She didn't believe her.
What? Which is
And
also like you always
if
believe
somebody
the.
comes to me It tells me one of my kids is getting something. I don't.
Especially your kid. Yeah, that's like
I'm not just
insane
going to blow them off.
No, I'm
No.
gonna be like, oh, like I need like that
We're looking
name
into
now,
that.
like
Yeah. We're looking
because,
into
but
that.
also because in general, anyone like you have to believe the victim. Like if they're coming to you telling you that, like like you gotta believe them.
You have to. You have to
Yeah,
until something, because there's just, and if it's not true,
they still need like help
then
with
there's
some
something.
way.
Yeah. So, anyways, this first trial, the jury cannot decide, and it's a mistrial. So that means
Dang.
basically Alex and Lyle still have to go there. They spend a couple of years in jail waiting for this next trial to take
Mm-hmm.
place. So this next trial takes place. The prosecution actually gets some of these people that were speaking on behalf of the defense, which is Alex and Lyle at this time.
Yeah.
They actually get them, they discredit them so hardcore that some of them can't even testify this next round
Wait, why?
because they have just discredited them. They brought up stuff in their past saying,
Who
"Oh, this
did?
person's the prosecution,"
Oh,
which
they
the
can do that.
prosecution is mom and dad. It's the state that's
Oh,
working to try to get
dang,
Alex and Lyle in jail. Probably a death penalty is what they're trying to get them.
that's crazy.
Yes. So some of these people are completely discredited, that have stood up for Alex and Lyle. And, what really made me sick about this is the prosecution, which that's basically on mom and dad's
Okay.
side. They're the state working to try to get
Yeah.
Alex and Lyle the death penalty. They actually came out and said they could not be the R word, if you know what I'm talking about, because they do not have the equipment.
Yeah, that is just like disgusting.
Think about that.
And what do you mean? Like I don't know what the exact definition of that word is, but like
You can't be
you
hard because guys don't have the equipment.
like what? Anybody can be.
And this is the early 90s, but this
That's
is what we
yeah.
do. This is what this is what
That's horrible. I'm
they
glad no one
did.
would ever. I don't think anyone would ever say that these days.
It's a
It's
good, it
sad
was
that they ever did. Yeah,
the
that's
good old
horrible.
boys club, I mean, it's just like sickening,
Yeah, that's
sickening.
disgusting.
So this second trial comes, and you can already guess, already imagine, what's about to happen, because they're not letting these new people, stand up for them. So
Yeah.
they do find them guilty of absolute first degree murder, I believe it is, which that's premeditated, and they use that because they went and got the
Mm.
shotguns beforehand, so they actually had planned, plotted
Like
this whole
thought about
thing.
it. Yeah.
And, their defense too, not only, had they been getting the stuff done to them, but they were scared for their lives because dad had supposedly been telling them, hey, if you tell anybody this, and especially like he wouldn't let the brothers tell each other, like, hey, you don't tell your brother, because he
Oh, so
stopped on
did
one of
they
the
never
brothers.
like
He stopped on one of the brothers real early, but he
really?
kept going on another brother. Yes.
What?
Yeah. So he told them, you don't tell anybody this or it's, and one of them stood up and said, well, I think I am going to tell. And he's like, if you make that choice, you've made your choice. And that's kind of threatful. Again, dad is making a lot of money. Dad is in
Yeah.
businesses that are known at this time, they say, to be mob affiliated.
So he doesn't want to like
Um,
ruin his life by
well, and
or
there
like
was a
no one would believe
sense,
him. His dad's like high up there, kind of in a
and
lot
there's
of
a
ways.
sense of guys back in the 80s and 90s that had been, essayed. It's kind of, it was taboo to, talk about
Yeah,
that.
which
It
I mean,
was,
still nowadays,
and
so
still
like
now, yeah.
nobody really likes to. It's really like no matter who it is, it's hard to like say something about it.
They
I
were
feel like
embarrassed. Yeah.
people still are, or because like so many people still don't believe people. I feel like they'll still like like don't believe them like
No,
so
absolutely.
hard.
Absolutely. And so they find themselves in jail for the rest of their lives until about 2020, which TikTok,
That's crazy. That 2020 like
Instagram,
just yeah.
all the stuff had started building up with some new evidence that was coming to light. So, like, what is this new evidence? So, there was a famous band. Again, if you were in the 80s, it was a band called Menudo.
I've
They were
never
a
heard of that.
Spanish. They were a Spanish band. I believe it was Spanish. And very popular band. Very popular band. But The deal with Menudo is, here's the weird thing about that, is when those kids started getting like 16, 17 years old, they aged them out of the group Menudo and they would bring in more 14, 15-year-olds.
Into
So
the
if
band?
you age, yep.
They only
That
wanted
was
around
a
14 and
weird
15.
thing.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing.
That is strange because I don't
It's
think most
very
bands would
strange.
want 14 and 15 year
And
olds.
don't forget, you know,
Wait,
Mr.
who
Menendez,
are they?
Dad
Oh,
Menendez
okay.
is he's in the recording artist. He signs, he's a manager for bands, big time bands, and he just so happened to manage this band. So he's kind of obviously behind aging these kids out, and which
Yeah.
is a weird deal. Think about all the boy
'Cause-
bands that we grew up with. NSYNC.
All the bands that I know, like, they're none of them are 14 and 15 usually.
No,
Or they
but
grow up
they
together.
just
and,
grow up
like,
together. They just grow up together. All the those boy band groups growing up, they just grow up together. They're 30 years old. They're still getting it.
We like the young ones.
Yeah, we just went to one of the popular 80s bands and saw them, and they're like 50 years old. They're all still, they're not making, yeah, age them out. But anyway, so this guy came out at 50, I think he would have been 51 years old at this time because, like I said, it was about 2020. But he came out and said that Mr. Menendez had him over at the house. He was 14 or 15 years old at the time. Made him a glass of wine, and the next thing he knows, he's in a room, and it
How
happened.
old was he?
14 or 15
and
years
he made him a
old.
glass of wine too?
Yep.
I don't know
and
if that was as weird
drugged
back
him.
then, but
No, he drugged him with that glass of wine. Not just a glass of wine, he drugged
yeah.
him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Even a glass of wine to a 14 or 15-year-old is weird.
And then there was
Even back then, that's still weird. I feel like, right? That was so weird.
Oh yeah.
A glass of wine to a 14 or 15.
Yeah. You don't just no. There's
Give a kid alcohol.
a kid alcohol. It's just you and him, and you're and no, because there's there's nothing good coming out of that.
Did that guy share his story? How did he share it? On TikTok or?
He had came forward, I think, with some
Like law people?
It came out.
It's crazy though, because that means like that guy must have been like thinking about her, like carrying that for so long, and then like.
Yep, absolutely
finally
carrying that
putting it
around, and there was tears. You could tell it's a legit thing because but it had happened 2 more times to him too. Once before a concert, once after a concert. So 3 times in total. He said Mr. Menendez had done this to him, and then now not only do we have that evidence, so if he's doing it to him, and what these kids
then
are
he
saying,
definitely would do it to his kids. It seems like
they absolutely.
or his
if you're
kids
that
wouldn't be
sick,
lying.
I mean, yeah.
Then you're just sick in general.
You're just sick. Okay, now, so for the second piece of evidence, Alex and Lyle had a cousin, and they gave this, one of them had written the cousin a letter, and it was a letter 8 months previous to the murders, so this is before the murders, stating that he is still doing this to me, and, I'm getting more scared for my life because he keeps threatening me. Every night I'm worried he's going to come in. And it's, and then it talks about things that were going on at that time frame because a lot of people are like, oh, we could have planted this letter, things like that. And why didn't this come up at the first trial? And it's just, if you weren't planning that evidence, I feel like it's just not something even because they found this in the back of a drawer, and so who knows? But it was obviously a weird letter to be written. Do
you think it's planted or no?
I don't think it was planted at all. I think the kid wrote it. There was a snowman at the end of it too.
That's random.
It was just random stuff on there. They said it was.
I just feel like, was the paper old? Did they say that?
I know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But apparently it was because it's being, highly considered in this, And
like, does anyone even have access to get in those homes really, like, after that? Or do you even know how that works?
Yeah, I don't even know how it even came about, even, actually finding it. No, they did not. They had it. They had this. It came out afterwards, I guess. I'm not sure exactly when. at some point.
But it's being talked about again.
But it's being talked about. That letter's really big because that states a lot if it's 8 months previous.
Evidence, literally, that's right. 8 months is like very close to it.
And there's no reason you write your cousin and say, "You're still doing this to me."
Yeah,
you know.
Just lie about that.
No, definitely not. So,
did the cousin ever try to talk out?
At the first trial he did.
And then they got him. They made him stop talking.
And then that second trial he was kind of shut down. And then he tragically in 2003 he passed away.
That sucks that he can't even or that he couldn't even talk, like that they can take that like power away from them, like
it's the state.
Yeah,
it's the state.
It's so, like, sickening,
it is. Well, just think about the state saying, guys don't have the, they can't be because when they're there they don't have the equipment.
Like,
well,
what?
What
kind of state people are in charge of all this? Like,
it's unbelievable. Yeah. It is. So Eric and Lyle, they're pretty close to mine. I mean, I think they're a little older than me now. I mean, I think they're 54. Maybe one of them is about my age, 51 too, but still in prison.
Since they were like my age.
Still in prison. And here's the cool thing about them. At least Lyle, anyways. Alex he's been quiet. Alex doesn't talk. Lyle's been very vocal. It is. But Lyle is very active in the prison system he's furthering his education. But here's what got me, though, is he is actually working with SA prisoners that go there that have been, abused and have gone through a lot of trauma. He is working in that unit to help them overcome some stuff. So really cool. It really is. I really hope that they, open this case back up.
Do you know the updates on it? The latest?
The latest updates is still nothing is coming of it that I know of yet. But the power of social media is crazy. Just like I said, it is powerful. And there are those, the Innocence Project. There's a lot of places that definitely can help once they step in.
Yeah, no way they have to spend the rest of their life in prison after.
No.
Like, because I get, like, gruesome murder. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
What are you thinking?
Like, I don't know what is, like, I don't know. That's obviously, I've never been put in those shoes, thankfully. So I don't know how I would react, obviously.
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
Because that is going to drive someone insane, like.
I know. You're sitting, imagine that, though. And I can't. Like you said, it's hard to imagine that, somebody did this to me now. And a lot of people, here's what they're saying is they could have just gone to the cops. They could have gone to the cops.
But look,
this is the thing.
The state is, like, do you hear them? Like, they're not going to listen to them, like, and.
Not only that, Daddy is powerful.
Money, he's powerful. He can get himself out of, like, anything. And if the state's just going to say, well, you're a boy, I don't really know how far they're going to get with that. Like, it's horrible. And then also, like, some people just, like, it's just hard to do that, which obviously, I mean, that doesn't mean you have to resort to killing, but.
Here's what I thought was interesting, too. This was kind of chilling. And when I heard it, I was like, whoa. This one statement, and this comes from Kitty was the mom. That's what they called Mom. I don't know if that's her real name or if that's what they called her, but this is Mom's brother is also talking to 48 Hours at this point in time, which the TV show. And he's pissed. He wants the brothers to actually get the death penalty. He's mad at what they did to his sister. So, but he tells this story. At the funeral, Lyle gets up and speaks about his dad. And even the uncle remembers Dad at one point in time saying this to his son is, "You will never fill my shoes. You will never fill my shoes." And you know what that saying is? That's like, you'll never be as good as me. You'll never be like me. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't imagine. So I want y'all to be better than me. I'm going to help y'all rise up and be better than me. Whatever I can do to be better than me, we're all in.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'll be better than you.
Oh, are you kidding me right now? You're going to be better.
Amazing, but in a good way. But.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. But No,
I
you'd be
just want to
better.
be as good as you. Just to be up there
No,
with you.
man, you gonna make me tear up. Don't do that. All right, let's get off that. Thank you,
Okay,
though.
anyway.
I'm serious. Thank you for
You're
that.
welcome.
And I'm serious when I want you to say you'd be better. So,
Yes, thank you.
but so Lyle speaks at the funeral of his dad, and he says, "Guess what, Dad? Now I'm wearing your shoes." So to me, another big FU statement. Like, why would you, and at this time they're still, they haven't really, thought about them. Now, how this came out is, and I don't know how this actually gets out, but it was a therapy session. They were in therapy. They admitted the murders to the therapist.
Oh, really?
This is how this all came out, which, and maybe back then that's the way it was, but I think when you're in therapy, I don't know that can be, I don't know if it's something, I don't know.
They can't say?
I don't know though.
But you know
I'm
how
sure a
there is,
therapist,
like,
if they know you're
there's
going to
like
hurt
certain
yourselves
things,
or
like,
something,
that they have to say for sure.
but they would have
know
been
that.
adults. They would have been adults because they were 18 to 21 at the times of the murder.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure if you admit to murder, like, I feel like they.
I know. I feel like there's something that you got to come out and say,
Yeah,
right?
I feel
So,
like you can't like hold that.
yeah.
In.
So that's how it came out that they did
I'm
it
not sure.
anyways.
That is an interesting question.
But I'm just telling you, the scene at the time is so gruesome. The shopping spree afterwards.
Yeah, and like if they did nothing and they just did all that, like I feel like they would have some remorse. Like
that's exactly what
like
me and
they
Mom
wouldn't
said.
like even like they wouldn't, because if they just did it for the money, like I feel like also like if they just did it for the money, I feel like they wouldn't have spent the money right after. They would have
take your time. Take your time. Let's we'll go on that shopping spree in a little bit. Right now we gotta mourn. We gotta mourn. We gotta play the game.
I feel like they would have if they did it just for the money. They wouldn't have went and spent all the money right after.
Immediately, and even
And if it was just for the money, yeah, they wouldn't be saying all those like "fu" statements because they wouldn't.
And to reload. Reload, I think, was a big tell sign for me.
Be taken out like your like life's hurt.
Because think about that, and that's your mom. I don't care, mom could be that's at the end of the day, that's still mom.
Yeah, and like,
and
but
that
then
is
it's
tough.
like the fact that she just like let
and
him
I
do
know
that,
right is they have
like,
to be
you're
like
supposed
you
to be my
let
mom,
you're
and
supposed to be my savior. You're supposed
Yeah.
to save me.
and
help
you just
me.
like let me go through
You
that.
let me do that, and I think it was a big statement right there. Not saying that that's the right, and like I said,
because obviously it's just.
but at
But
that
I cannot
time,
imagine that pain.
I think
like,
I think what they what they should get is what the defense was always claiming was never that they didn't kill them, but why.
Yeah.
And so the defense was going for manslaughter.
Yeah, which
and
I feel like that's like
almost self-defense. And then a lot of people are going to say, but mom and dad were just sitting there watching TV.
Yeah, but he would still do that the next day, the next week. Like,
or if he knew that they told, he could have killed. He could have killed. They were scared for their lives. So it's not at that moment were they in self-defense, but their lives,
just like their lives, like they're living. They're not getting to live because of him.
That right there.
Which now they still aren't getting to live, but at least I don't know. Hopefully they are. I don't know.
So I want to hear
they're not really in prison, but at least they're helping people.
Yeah, they are in prison. Definitely helping. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Where y'all stand?
Do you know?
I don't know. They're together. They've been together since 2018. I don't think in the same jail cell at all, but they're in the same prison. So that's good.
Yeah.
I feel like because obviously they went through this together. And so, anyways, I want to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you guys for.
Do you think they made that up because they wanted out of it? Or no? Or what do you think? What do you think they deserve as their punishment? Do they deserve to be out of jail, in jail?
Have they served their sentence? Have they served their time? Or do they need to, or should they get the death penalty? What's your thoughts?
Because there's a lot of opinions.
There's so many ways that could go.
Definitely.
But hey, out of time. Thank you guys so much. We'll end it right there. But we will
see you next week for episode 18, right?
18.
Okay.
Man. All right, guys. Do better.